how to stay positive with your training for fighting in general. Because a lot of times you need to stay positive, you need to keep showing up, but sometimes if you can't stay positive, how can you stay motivated? If you go into training and everyone's against you, everyone's trying to fight against you, your coaches don't really listen to you, you're not feeling respected, how can you keep going? It's going to make it very hard. So yes, you can persevere and push through, but there's always a limit. But staying positive is very important. You got to make sure the people around you are very good. But more importantly, being positive, that's not the right one. You got to be accurate, okay? Because yeah, it could be a positive environment, but if all we're saying is, you know, you're going to be all right, we're friends, but you're not really friends, then that's going to affect you. You need to make sure all your relationships are positive, because there's trauma that is associated with relationships that you might not even be aware of, okay? Things like, you know, your coach will do, because you respect your coach, so whatever they do, you kind of do as well. What makes a good coach makes a bad coach. And your coach needs to be accurate. He needs to have good spelling. I think that's correct. And also, the way they work with you, it needs to be positive. It has to be positive, of course. They have to be trying, they have to have good intentions, but they need to be accurate as well. You don't want to go into a fight being taught the wrong thing, but being told this will work in a fight when it won't work in a fight, and you lose, or even worse, you get hurt in a fight. Because at the end of the day, it's all about your health and safety. So being accurate is very important. You've got to have a good coach, and if you're lucky enough to get a good coach, and sometimes it's worth traveling, super worth traveling to find a good coach, because they're going to be there to help support you. They can tell if you're not confident, right? So say I've got a student now, Paolo, right? And with him, you know, he doesn't have as much confidence in him. So I'll make a lot of jokes. I'll walk around saying I'm the man. I can beat up everyone in this gym, which I can at times. And that gives him a bit more confidence, a bit more belief, because that's what he wants. You know, the coach and the fighters, the energy, it goes both ways, okay? So if the coach is confident and positive, the fighter will be confident and positive. And if a coach is screaming and yelling in the corner, the fighter will feel a bit like sense of urgency. So, you know, you got to choose the style of coaching that you want, as well as the communication that you want. The really coaching at the end of the day is communication. So it really depends on each person. Yes, you want to be accurate, and that's the first one. The second one is you have to know yourself as well as the fighter, right? So as a coach, you have to know yourself, you have to know what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then you have to know your fighter. What is the fighter good at? What age, what experience, where they come from. So say with a young fighter, okay, around the ages of 13 to 15, they're still developing, so the way they move might not be as good. So we look at things like, you know, the background, experience, and athleticism, and say if it's not that good and, you know, they move really awkwardly, right, like a lanky wet noodle, then we've got to make things to make improve and move a lot more fluently. They have to have this nice movement. So that's the first one that we work on. And as the fighter themselves, it's easy to say positive when everything that's been done is being addressed. So now the person can move better, and you have footage, you show results that they're improving. That's how you can stay positive, okay? So you knowing yourself, you tailored for the exact interventions and exercises, okay? So tailored interventions and exercises. Because say with someone who's a tall fighter, okay, like Paolo, for example, he's a tall fighter. If I make him fight like a short person, it's not going to work. And then if I make him fight like a brawler, it's not going to work. Not for now, because they need to learn the basics that works naturally for him. So some tall fighters might actually be good as a brawler, but I'll see what it is and I'll play around, see what's natural. But of course, you always work on the basic fundamentals. You know, have your hands up, good footwork, nice balance, you know, good distance control and good timing. So as a fighter, what stays positive is it's like a feedback loop, okay? So if you keep doing good, you keep going all right, and then, you know, you get a tick. Like that's exactly what you want. But if you keep going along and then you start going into random directions, then that's a no. See how the tick turns to an X really quickly? That's exactly how fast it happens, because bang, you lose your positivity, you're doing really good, you're getting all these good results, and then bang, you know, coach says something stupid or says something wrong, or the fighter does something wrong. And most of the time, coaches can give very basic advice, which is good, so it's hard to make mistakes, but you want to be specific sometimes as well. So as a fighter, you have to know yourself and not do the wrong things. You have to keep doing the right things and keep the communication going. So the third point, and this is the most important point, so I'm going to circle it 3 times, okay, is communication. So the best way to stay positive is through frequent communication. You got to know how your coach speaks. Sometimes your coach is busy, so you got to make it real quick. Sometimes your coach can get emotional, so you can get emotional as well. But if your coach doesn't get emotional and you get emotional, he's going to think you're weird, and you don't want to be weird. You want to have good communication. So a good one is, you match the energy. If someone's, very formal, very businesslike, and they're talking to you in a nice formal tone, and they expect formalities, then you can give back formalities, and that's appreciated. But if they, I'm laid back and, hey, how's your day, bro? Then you can talk using bros. Otherwise, you shouldn't really talk using bros, because the bros don't like it when they talk to you formally, and the formal people don't like it when they talk to you like a bro. That's really important. So really, that's the basic 3 things to stay positive. There's probably a lot more. There is a lot more. But again, right, you stay positive if you're on the right track. So as long as you have these ones, and then you're continually improving, okay? So you can improve linearly, you can be building up information, and then you can improve exponentially. That's good. But as long as you're kind of moving forwards, right? Even if you're moving like that, that's okay. You don't want to be going backwards at all. You don't want to be going, even like that, that's okay. But you don't want to be doing this. Sometimes even that's fine, okay? Spiral. So as long as you're kind of moving in a direction, doesn't matter how fast or how slow, that's the main thing. So that's how you stay positive in fighting.